Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and once again, I brought a chillmonger.
He brought in Chillmonger.
That's it?
That's
That's all
it.
you got?
That's all I got.
Boring! Anyway,
Boring.
so you can't come up with something creative every time
No,
after all. So anyway,
it gets difficult.
what's up there, my peeps? So we got another lovely podcast coming to you, very well informed, with just stocked full of opinion, all right? This is actually a really low news day, though, right?
Oh, low news day, but there's one thing that everyone needs to talk
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, it's like the biggest news ever in an otherwise dead. I don't think we'd even have a podcast if this thing didn't happen. It's my whole Snyder cut a rug thing because the Snyder cut, holy crap. Holy crap, dude.
Remember that idiot on the Comic Book University podcast was like, "Well, it's only going to be 20 extra minutes of footage." There's talk that this might reach 4 hours and it'll be a 4-night premiere. You'll get an hour here, an hour there. Why not? You don't got to worry about the theatrical release. You got to have certain amount of showings per day, so the movie should be shorter. It's not like that for streaming at home.
Yeah, 100% true. So, yeah, I'm okay with that idiot comment because honestly, I say it all the time. I am okay with admitting when I am wrong. And
Mm.
I did not think, with all the proofs that I had, the people I've talked to and whatnot, everybody's saying there's no way, there's no precedent for it. They've never released like a director's cut
Hmm.
like that. You know what I'm saying? I not saying that there wouldn't be a director's cut, but like the Snyder cut, as they're saying it, releasing everything, there's simply no way that would ever happen. And sure enough, here I stand, wrong.
It's 2020. It's the year of listening to the fans. Like when Paramount listened after the fans were crying out about Sonic, we get a good Sonic movie out of it.
Yes, yes. They actually said, well, it's going to take like another 5 months. And they're like, we're willing to deal with it. Dude, and all of a sudden, and this is what I'm talking about. You know, that this is literally unprecedented. They've never done something like this before. Look, you think about all the times that people have decried, like for instance, the original Superman. All right, the Richard Donner Superman. He also did part two, but it was somebody else who finished most of that, and people weren't happy with the original Superman 2. They're like Richard Donner made his own version of it, released the director's cut, the Donner version. It took forever, but they finally did. You can get it on DVD, and it is a slightly better version of an already pretty damn good movie, right? So director's cuts are not unheard of. Daredevil, probably the most famous of them. You know what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
extra 44 minutes, holy crap. But for the most part, people don't do stuff like this. And WB, who is constantly always getting in the middle of people's work and screwing people over and screwing over these directors, everybody knows this is what they do. So for them to have said, "Oh yeah, sure, we'll just let a Snyder cut come out. We'll let you see what his original vision was going to be," it would be them admitting that they were wrong in what they did. Especially with the news that he'd apparently been fired. He's still sticking by his gun, saying that he wasn't fired, which it still flies in the face of a lot of the reporting that was out there before. Maybe a lot of it was the gossip mongering. I don't know. But when push comes to shove, hey, the bottom line is I was wrong. You know, they are releasing a Snyder cut, 4 freaking hours. Mind you, I'm sure the cinematography is going to be amazing. It's going to be dark, a very dark movie, as expected. The Vince McMahon comment of the painting the screen black when you put it and then put a black quilt over top of it in a dark room, and that's how the movies are filmed, because all of the freaking Snyder movies, for the Justice League are super duper dark, the DCEU. But I mean, whatever, dude. The cinematography, I'm sure, is going to be beautiful. He's one of the best cinematographers out there. His movies are always unbelievably gorgeous. That being said, it's still going to be a Zack Snyder film where the heroes are ridiculously dark and do evil things, and they're going to start to be redeemed. And according to Snyder, they're going to start being redeemed in this, his version of Justice League. Cool, man, cool. It's still going to be the same movie, but an extra 2 hours and some odd minutes chalked onto it. I'm still interested in seeing it. Just the problems with the whole superhero aspect of it is not going to change, though.
But we'll get Superman without a mustache CGI'd off because the footage
That is
that
true.
they would be using would be before the reshoots that Joss Whedon had to deal with.
Yeah, but also with that being the case, the whole Superman's eyes moving and seeing the Flash running at him, which
That won't be
was,
there.
yeah, exactly, that won't be there. And that's, I mean, hands down, that is the vast majority of people's favorite scene from the movie. So like that scene won't be there. The
Well,
humor in it, for the most part, won't be there.
get ready to have a new favorite scene. And we don't know. There's a lot we don't know.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
There's a possibility this movie will suck. There's also a certainty that even if it does suck, release the Snyder Cut fans are going to be so happy about it.
100%. This does show a new, like I said, about the whole Donner cut thing, the Daredevil thing, which actually just happened. I don't think anybody was calling for it, but I don't know. The Sonic thing. This is a new era where the fans are talking, and hey, maybe it's about time that we start listening. Maybe some of this will also bowl over into politics. I wouldn't complain about that if people can get active enough and start screaming, "Hey, stop being stupid! This is what we want. You're trying to sell us stuff. This is what we want." So
That's crazy talk. Let's not push it. All right, it's just comic book movies and video games too.
mhm.
Xbox came out when they were releasing their next generation, and the first thing the guy says is, "We hear ya," and he said these should only be for gaming first. They shouldn't be this one home entertainment system. Remember earlier in 2013, they were talking about making the Xbox One's camera, the Kinect, that's what it's called. They were like, you're gonna have to pay an extra bucks, extra 100 for the Kinect, and PlayStation was $100 cheaper. They also came out saying if you wanted to trade a game with somebody, you wouldn't be able to do that. One game only works on one system. And PlayStation that same week made a commercial that was like 10 seconds. It's like, this is how you trade a game for PlayStation. And the guy hands the game to another guy. And they smile at the camera. And yeah, they were winning that battle.
Wow. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Plus, so I don't know about any of that, but I do know the Star Wars, was it Fallen Order or whatever, the most recent Star Wars game that just came out with that Cassian guy, whatever.
Yeah, okay. So here's the thing with that. This is unrelated to what you were going to say, but they went and made a human being protagonist. Me, as an educated man, I know that once you're dealing with animation, it doesn't matter if it's a human, it's an alien, it's an anything. It costs the same amount of money, it's the same amount of effort. It's not like a movie budget with CGI. So why not in this grand universe, galaxy, why don't you have a alien-looking protagonist to make it look like, it's just way too coincidental how many human beings characters exist in Star Wars. I know why. I know it's expensive to have CGI people and a bunch of Wookiees and stuff. I know it's harder to deal with that, but it's a game. Why not? The reason for that was they wanted it to be more relatable. That was their explanation.
You are freaking weird. But you know what? If enough people are weird like you, you'll get it. You'll get exactly what you're looking for.
I
Um,
want a galaxy. I want diversity. And mind you, they went with a white protagonist, not like Anakin and Luke was enough. If you're gonna go human, why not black? But then all I gotta do is C answer A. They wanted it to be relatable. And we still live in this world where it's more easy to relate to a white man, or it's easier to relate selling that in a video game. You guys ever watched? I'm gonna go on another rant. The Pokemon video games introduced different skin colors for your protagonist, like 2013, Gen 6. In every commercial, the protagonist that you see running across the screen is the white one. While this is like their third chance, their third game in, and they're still using a white character to sell you on the game. It's more relatable. That's all. It wasn't much of a rant, but it was a point.
wow. I never seen those commercials, so I didn't
Yeah,
think about it.
let's rewind to what you were trying to get at.
No big deal. It's a very valid point, and it's good. You could have shown more than one protagonist.
Never.
What's the big
And
deal?
they were in a region based off of Hawaii. Man, your skin got some tan in there
Wow.
if you live in Hawaii. So, come on, guys.
Go figure, Polynesians, huh? So, yeah, I don't know, but I think I pretty much lost my point at this point. But
Something about
if enough
Snyder Cut
fans,
listening to fans.
yeah, if enough fans, call in and they're just like, hey, we're getting sick of these buying all these DCLs or whatever they're called. Saying
Yeah.
like, I want to buy a game once. I don't want to buy a game which is just going to be a way for me to unlock 14 other different things, and you guys keep on getting my money. So whoever was in charge of that video game system, they're like, hey, you know what? We demand that you release this game right now so the fans don't completely, get infuriated. Otherwise, we're just going to snatch the license away from you. And they're like, okay, fine. So, and it turns out a lot more people bought the game. So they didn't lose any money off of that.
It was EA, and they have the most downvoted Reddit post where they explain We want fans to grind 40 hours of gameplay in order for you to unlock the Darth Vader costume, blah, blah, blah.
Or just buy it.
Or just buy it.
It's just yeah, pay to play, baby. Play to win. Pay to win. So yeah, I've seen so much that ever since I was playing Lord of the Rings Online, which still exists. Go figure. It's like you can unlock all the regions through grinding and grinding, and getting points, or just buy the stuff, become a VIP member. Yeah, yeah, it is what it is. It's like after you already bought the game, right?
Yeah.
So whatever it is, this really is a profound time, and I'm genuinely excited at the possibilities that are in front of us. Here's a time when you think about like with the Ghostbusters thing, the Ghostbusters Answer the Call. All we asked was that they did add a name to it instead of just saying it's called Ghostbusters, like as though they're replacing the original ones or rebooting it. Or it's like we don't want that. We want you to pay homage to the original. Just give it a different name, something. Ghostbusters Answer the Call would have worked. They did it on DVD. Hey, suddenly there were sales. But anyway, but then attacking the fans and whatnot, no. I think that we as fans have grown sick and tired of these executives, these big, rich money bag jerks telling us what we want, as opposed to listening to what we want. So this is stuff that's, again, it's unprecedented. This didn't exist in my time when all we had were emails. And forget about emails. I grew up, like my entire high school life, there was no such thing as the internet. None. So it would have been a letter to your congressman, you know what I'm saying? Which they never listened to begin with. But you freaking, you'd send a letter to a video game company or a movie company or whatever, Nowadays, a tweet, and it's instantly read by thousands, maybe millions, depending on how influential it is and how good your hashtag game is. I mean, these are unprecedented times where people
Hashtag released the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
Remember the billboard on Comic-Con weekend?
No, that wasn't a billboard. That was actually a plane that was flying over top with the tail streamer. There was a billboard in Times Square.
Okay, my mistake. Yeah.
No
yeah.
worries. Granted, that was during the pandemic, but they'd already paid for it, so it is what it is. But like fans got together and they did that. Dude, this is what I'm talking about. I fell behind. I fell behind. I got so cynical to the idea that no one was ever going to listen to us fans. Let's just be realistic. Mm-hmm. No one's ever going to listen to us.
It's never happened before.
Not to this level. Not to this level. Like the Sonic thing was I guess the earliest hint for me at least, and it wasn't enough to really jar me.
Well, also with the Sonic thing, they only did enough CGI for the trailer. So there was still a whole bunch of work they haven't even gotten started on doing. They just decided to reroute and just make Sonic look like Sonic, and we win.
Yeah.
They weren't too far into the development of it. The hashtag thing, though, I think when they were the second year anniversary of the Justice League film, the -- Twitter tweet was release the Snyder Cut. Everyone wanted to talk about the Zack Snyder on that day. They knew the fan base was out there, and it grew, and all of a sudden here we go. Now imagine what this means for next. Let's just talk about, I don't know, the Marvel films, because that's all I care about. Let's talk about the new one coming out, Black Widow. What if on Disney Plus they do the plus cut? Every film will have an additional 20 minutes of no.
I'm just thinking in real time. Go ahead. I don't have a good poker face.
What if the new movies actually have additional footage for it, and when it comes to streaming, now if you want to see it, the plus cut, you got to see it on Disney Plus, and that goes for not just the Marvel movies, but everything that they put out. Netflix too. You can see the Netflix cut.
See, I watched this thing called Superpower Beatdown on YouTube. I love Superpower Beatdown. And it's all a fan vote. It's all people just voting for, oh, hey, who do you want to see win, Wolverine or Batman? They voted for Wolverine. So Wolverine killed Batman.
Side note, the Marvel Twitter, voting it's superhero for superhero. The finals was Thor versus Jean Grey, and Thor won. Go ahead.
Where was this?
On Twitter, they've been asking people to vote for hero versus hero for the Ms. Marvel versus Squirrel Girl, and
on
Thor beat Jean.
Marvel.com?
On the Twitter of Marvel, there was a poll every single day for the last 20 days.
Oh, wow.
And today was the finals. Thor won.
So, wow. Okay. But it said Jean Grey, not Phoenix.
Jean Grey.
Okay, so that's right.
I would include the Phoenix with that. It's the same person.
Well, they didn't say Phoenix, so no, it's not really the same person. Phoenix is a separate entity, but no, I get it. I get it. It's cool. Well, yeah, it makes sense that Thor would win. Thor is the most powerful being, well, superhero being in the Marvel universe, so it works for me. Um, anyway, crap, you keep on derailing me, dude. Where was I?
You were just talking about people battling each other. Fans were voting for
Oh,
it.
there we go. So anyway, so what they started doing, I think that the first one that people got like really super angsty and pissed off about was Captain America versus the Spartan soldier from Halo. They were like, "Oh, there's no way Captain America wins," and I'm just like, I don't think that you guys are real Captain America fans for you to say something like that, because Captain America's superhero power is to win. Just ask Jim Shooter. He'll acknowledge it also. He's the person I got it from. But anyway, no, Captain America finds a way. That's what he does. He finds a way. So everybody's going to say, no, 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 whatever. There are people who say that you can't cut off a vampire's head with Captain America's shield. I'm sorry, why? Why exactly? Anyway, so there are people who are huge video game fans. They love Master Chief from Halo, and they're just like, like, no way that Cap would have won. The armor, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, but what does Captain America do? I don't know. He's just some guy who got steroids. And okay, well, that explains why you don't think he can win. Anyway, fans got so pissed off that, Captain America won, that they made an extra, bonus scene where it's like, hey, look, here's a version where Master Chief wins, and he wins, and he goes over and he does that teabag maneuver that that they always do.
All
in the
those
live
kids would do that move.
I'm noticing something here.
They would click on their left analog to make the character go lower. I don't know why.
Oh, is that how it works? Okay, good to know. You're awesome. So anyway, yes, they did that, and then I think every single time since, they've always had where the fans have voted for this, but now we're also going to do a cut where the other guys win. It's like, okay, cool. So whatever, it is what it is. Now everybody gets their cake, I guess.
Except for Superman versus Goku when they did that battle and made
no,
Superman win.
That's Death Battle.
Death Battle.
Death Battle is different from Superpower Beatdown. I don't like the Death Battle guys. I don't think that they really read their comic book. I had this discussion in Discord not too long ago. These are guys who I don't think really read a lot of these comic books. They just simply look at stuff on Reddit or some other place on Google, and they read these characters.
I just see the hours of work that they put into the thing.
Well, that's the thing.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, they put in a lot of hours of work. It's just afterwards when they try to act like anybody who tries to act like an expert, you're opening yourself up for scrutiny. Saying if you just simply say, "Oh no, this is the way that we want to do it, and it's our videos, and if you don't like it, screw you," then hey, it is what it is. But we try to, explain. I think the thing that finally made it so I wasn't watching any more of their stuff was the Doomsday versus Hulk thing, where they said that Hulk's healing factor can be overtaxed, and they used the battle that he had against Zeus as an example. And it's like, dude, Zeus was a different story. They explain. I think it was Hephaestus who explained that if Zeus punches you or hits you or strikes you, it shuts off, your ability to heal, even if it's a regenerative factor thing.
Oh,
So
I get it.
his healing factor wasn't overtaxed. It was magically shut down. So that's a huge difference. And I'm sorry, Doomsday doesn't have magic. So unless they decide to retcon him in some time in the future, which I'm sure they will. But no, it doesn't make sense that Doomsday would win. So, he would just come back. Well, he'd have to come back. That's like the whole Superman versus Goku thing. Well, Superman wouldn't kill Goku, so Goku would come back, and then he would be able to defeat Superman. Okay, so he would come back after what? He would come back after what? Oh, yeah, after Superman defeated him. This isn't, like, come on, man. It's Death Battle. Well,
So, do you agree that Superman could beat Goku?
yeah, I do.
Okay. I think Goku's beating Superman.
That's cool.
Yeah.
No, I think that Superman beats Goku. It's respect to the elder, saying, and it is what it is. And plus, like, when you look at the actual, for me, I'm a big guy, built on stories. When you look at the actual stories, looking at Dragon Ball Z and whatnot, how many times did Goku get beaten or even killed in Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah.
Lots of times, right?
Yeah.
Because the whole purpose of Goku is the comeback story. He's the comeback kid, but you can only come back after you were defeated.
Yeah, but I could easily say that the people who defeated him are also stronger than Superman. Just the fighting is on a different level in Dragon Ball.
Nah, I can't see that they're stronger than Superman. Nah.
Okay.
Remember, Superman's as strong as he needs to be. That's his power. He's as strong as he needs to be to win every single time. Even if it means defeating a cosmic concept like Darkseid, he can somehow punch. That'd be like punching eternity in the face.
Yeah, I think Darkseid's going to be in the film. Maybe that's where that
He is.
$30 million is going to go to actually create a CGI Darkseid.
Oh, it's going to go to a lot of things. It's got to go to a lot of things because, like, most of his stuff is uncut footage. It's just
Hmm.
stuff where it's like there was no CG added to it whatsoever. So you're imagining the background. No, all that money is going to. I wouldn't be too surprised if he spent some of his own personal finances in the film just because he wants this thing to be perfect, you know? But no, Ray Porter already admitted or acknowledged on Twitter, I think it was yesterday, so Saturday, that or actually it would have been Friday, that he's actually the guy who's been tapped to play Darkseid. I don't want to go into spoilers. I already know how the scene works. Like I said, I know a lot of people, saying who I just don't usually mention because they don't want to be mentioned, and I don't get that inside information if I start mentioning names. But
Yeah.
I already know how the scene is supposed to play out from somebody who did see the movie, who did actually get to see one of those screenings. Mind you, it's
Except
a friend of the friend of the friend thing.
everyone was wearing like strings and no editing has been done to the film and I got to watch it anyways.
Yeah, it's basically Plan 9 from outer space.
Yeah, don't know what
You
that
don't
means.
you don't get that reference. The It's considered the best worst movie ever made. It's an Ed Wood film. You should definitely, you know what? At the very least, go and write this down if you have a pencil, pen, or you can type it on your computer really quick. Look up Ed Wood, the movie called Ed Wood. It stars Johnny Depp. I promise you, I swear to you, you will not regret watching this movie.
Not to be confused with Edward Scissorhands.
Definitely not to be confused with Edward Scissorhands.
With
Ed
the dark
Wood.
side appearing in the film,
Mhm.
it's gonna be a whole different film than the Justice League movie that we got, and they're only spending $30 million on a heavy 3 hour long, maybe 4 hour long, big budget film. Warner Brothers is only dropping $30 million because they already own all the footage. If you look at it that way, maybe they should spend more than just 30 million. Maybe they can go up to 50.
How many subscribers are they going to get just to watch that?
That is a very fine question because
Yeah.
it's unprecedented. These waters are uncharted. I know I will subscribe, well, if it's available in Canada, to HBO Max the day that that show is available, just to let them know this is what brought me here. And I believe
Yeah.
they can also see what the first things a new subscriber watches to
Yep.
know, what it is that brought in these dollars. I have a responsibility as a fan who wants them to listen to me to purchase my HBO Max and watch that very first day to let them know and send them the message. Just like I also have the responsibility for my Disney Plus subscription to cancel it at the end of Mandalorian to let them know this is what had me. Now that that is over, you do not have me. Give me more Mandalorian. And season 2 and season 3 are happening. So I think that my voice was heard there, and I think my voice needs to be here. Our voice, everybody, needs to be heard for HBO Max. Even if you're not a big Snyder Cut guy, you gotta. It's worth the $10. You gotta let them know this is gonna draw up money if you listen to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because people can see if you're not watching anything anyway. I haven't watched anything on Disney Plus for the past week, I think. Same with the kids. Not since the Mandalorian, episode 3 thing
Uh-huh.
came out, the gallery, Star Wars gallery. Episode 4 just dropped, which you explained on Friday night. So, boom, I gotta go and check this out now. Friday morning, technically.
Mm.
So I got to check it out. And that's the only thing I'm really watching. And they can see, oh, this user, the only thing that they're watching is this. So hey, they can see it
The,
that way. With you,
you're gonna.
however,
Uh huh.
just really quick, with you, however, they're seeing he's actually canceling once he's seen everything he wants to see. Wow.
Yeah.
So
Well, then I have
yeah,
a chance to vote for my dollars for the next thing I resubscribe for, which
exactly.
was on May the 4th. I wanted to watch the whole Clone Wars thing, and so I let these guys know with my dollars. I am back, and the things I'm watching right now is Clone Wars, and I'm not
Mhm.
watching Rise of Skywalker Episode 9. And then I will cancel again, which I might have already done. If I didn't, I will cancel again. And when Falcon and Winter Soldier comes on, I get to tell these guys, this brought my dollars. You get a chance to vote every show, so why not do it?
Yeah. Yeah, literally. And this is the only way that the consumer wins in capitalism. There
This is the
is
way.
zero other way. Yeah. There is zero other way to win in capitalism except to withhold your money.
Yeah.
They have, however, trained us to be a very consumer-heavy, I don't know, Congress of people. So
It's also easy to just let the thing pass by without having to cancel. The best thing to do is to buy your subscription and cancel the same day while you're doing all the setting stuff. You're in the mood of it. You know, the episode 4 that you haven't seen yet, they introduced this new technology. It's something like blue screens and green screens, except the screens are not blue and green. They're actually what you're going to be seeing. Like when they were rowing the boat in the final episode of Mandalorian in the lava, all the actors saw was lava around them. It helps with the acting, and
yeah,
they called it a video game simulator.
I love it. I
You'll
love
like
it.
it. It,
Yeah.
it. it changes the game, and especially with Taika Waititi, who did that episode. He directed that. Now he's going to do more Star Wars stuff. I'm sure that technology will be available. I don't know how many of those. The volume is what they called it. The volume. I don't know how many volumes that they have in that studio, but they need to use that for all of the big sci-fi stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Just to keep our attention, the whole behind the scenes stuff. That's exactly what I want to see.
Mhm.
I finally did go back and after I hung up with you last week, I did go and I looked up the thing where uh, Dave Filoni was talking about the Duel of the Fates. It was really just talking about like the reason why that final battle, that music was called the Duel of the Fates. I loved it. I loved his explanation of it. I thought it was great, and yeah, I guess they could have explained it better in the movie. That's something I say all the time about comic books. If you can't explain it in the comic book, don't come up to me afterwards with on Twitter and explain, what the story was. You missed your opportunity to explain what it was if you couldn't do it in the comic book. So likewise, it's one of the failures of that original
No, 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 no.
story
It
to me.
it was in the movie. This
What was in the
isn't.
movie?
We're making a new comic book to explain it. This was in the film.
No,
If you decided not to interpret it that way, that's on you.
no, you told me that you said that you didn't like the idea that it had to be explained to you afterwards. Like, no, I don't want to hear it afterwards. The stuff that they were talking about. That was you.
If I said that, did I really say that? I
You
don't think
really
that's
did.
that's on me.
You're the only person I've talked to about this.
Interesting.
No.
No, I liked episode 1 anyways. Like except for the pod racing part of it, I liked the fight. I always liked the prequel films and the 4, 5, 6. I liked all 6 of the Star Wars films. That doesn't sound like I would say something like that.
No worries.
Huh.
I will say though, I'm really upset that they made Anakin such a big deal and not Luke. And they've had Luke for all these years and they just squandered those opportunities. I mean, absolutely appalling, in my opinion. You didn't have the money to make this stuff. Trust in your product and do the stuff with green screen anyway. And then later on, like 10 years later when Jurassic Park is available, then you can start making, new sequels to it if you wanted to. But I mean, the idea that, like Luke down in Beggar's Canyon shooting womp rats and whatnot. Meanwhile, the only human who can even do pod racing back in the day is Luke's father, Anakin Skywalker, and he just turns out to be the big baddie for the entire original series. Like, dude, can we make some Luke-centric stories? Because that's where the EU went. It was mostly about Luke and, him kicking butt and taking names. I only know Luke as a hero from the comic books and from the books, the novels, not from the movies.
Yeah, what
If
did the
you-
movies teach you about Luke?
Yeah, right. What did the movies teach you about Luke? Yeah, exactly. He got mad and somehow he didn't get mad enough and he was able to get revenge on his father, and it's like, who cares? Who cares? So you see him in the movies, in the actual sequels that we got, and it's like, yeah, who cares? Luke is a chump anyway. He didn't believe in Yoda. He didn't believe in the Force. He didn't believe Ben. He was just whining the whole time. It's like you never got to see him grow. So, I got to see him grow in the comics and in the novels. I didn't get to see him grow in the movies, and that pisses me off. I'll
There's
never
a-
get to see that now.
There's a way that they could save that.
Uh-oh.
With Chill's headcanon, Luke did not
Uh-oh.
die in episode 8, The Last Jedi. What you saw was him fading away. That's because he used so much force energy to project himself on that planet Crate. What really happened was he went into a force form. See, there's force ghosts, but this was his force form. Not powerful enough to maintain a physical form, but he was on that island of Octu. That's why we saw him catch that lightsaber that Rey threw in the next movie. He caught that lightsaber. He lifted that ship. Why? Because he was not actually dead. He just became one with the Force without giving up his life. When he recharges, he'll come back to life and have his physical form again, and he can get back to the good stuff that he is all about. He can start a new academy and Chill's headcanon.
Okay, I'm going to take your headcanon even further.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to say you make another movie and just make it Luke's Force journey. Because he was, of course, the reason why he was, he disappeared, died, but in your headcanon, he was, he just, Force disappeared, is because he was already projecting his consciousness far away, right? That's why he couldn't actually touch Kylo and all that stuff. Yeah. So he did that for so long that he actually wound up taking himself to a new level where his body was just like, oh, well, since we're going anyway, and his whole essence got transferred, including his body.
Yeah.
And so then he got trapped out there. So we need a whole movie of Mark Hamill playing Luke Skywalker right now, where he actually goes and gets to visit Qui-Gon Jinn and Ben Kenobi again and Yoda and all these guys. So you bring back Liam Neeson, you bring back all these freaking people together, and he meets Ahsoka and he meets all these people who are Force ghosts right now. You know what I'm saying? And then boom, hey.
Yeah.
Like and he gets to actually, become maybe the greatest Jedi ever.
Yeah, because unlike those other guys you mentioned, he read the Jedi texts on Ahch-To.
That's right.
He knows a little something. So maybe when he tests the waters and sees what Yoda and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon have to say, he can say, okay, I'm going to practice that. Bing, bang, boom. I'm back, and I'm not evil anymore.
That's right.
There it is.
That's right. Oh, man. Yeah, I want to expand on that big time. I might do a stop motion with that. That is freaking awesome. Okay. That's my favorite headcanon you've come up with so far. Nice.
What do you think about Joe Rogan and Spotify?
Okay. This is game-changing. This is legit game-changing. I want you to think about this. How much, if you've got a podcast, I've got a podcast, how much is my podcast worth? Well, right now, my podcast is worth like negative $40 or whatever it is every month, because that's what I pay, and I don't get anything back because I don't have any sponsors. So you can always check the worth of what you're doing by how much you make in return for what you do, right? How much is your, at only 491 subs, how much is your YouTube channel worth?
I don't get anything from YouTube.
Yeah, and you put a lot of time into it.
Yeah.
Right? So, boom. That's the thing. You can always see how much you're worth. How much is the Joe Rogan podcast worth? Well,
Whatever they paid.
according to what he accepted, $100 million. And he is now exclusive to Spotify. So it will not be on all of the podcast platforms anymore. And it won't even be on YouTube anymore. I'm sure that on YouTube they're going to continue putting the little clips, of some of the little conversations. And if you want the whole conversation, well, you got to go to Spotify.
That's the way they should do it.
Yeah, agreed. But Spotify doesn't have a video format, so we don't get to see the Joe Rogan podcast anymore. Oh, but wait, they had so much faith in the Joe Rogan podcast that they said, we are going to invent they're going to make a new platform where they can actually have video on there also. So is this also going to transfer over to music? Because I only use a free version of Spotify because I actually can't find the paid version of Spotify anywhere to actually be able to transfer it to my phone also, my iPhone. But I just listen to the free version of Spotify whenever I'm cooking dinner. So I'll go out there and be like, oh, let's listen to some music, what I'm saying, while I'm cooking. But now, once this actually goes live, I've got to pay my capitalism due, and I've got to actually start paying for Spotify so that I can continue listening to the Joe Rogan podcast. I'm saying. So that's a big deal. And do you know how much Spotify got for it already?
How much?
Within 48 hours. That's right, people. Within 2 days, the Spotify net worth, the stocks, increased by $5 billion. $5 billion in just 2 days.
So Joe Rogan's looking at that $5 billion like, should ask for more.
Yeah. He's saying I should ask for more. Exactly. He got only $100 million out of it. Now, I don't know how long the deal is for. Maybe it's only for a year. Maybe it's for 2.
I believe it's 5 years.
Is it 5?
Unless
$100 million for 5 years. And that's that's his flat fee. That's not $100 million per year. That's $100 million for his contract. Okay. I hope that he's happy with it. And I'm sure he can always renegotiate, as
Uh-huh.
time goes on, because they're going to want to keep him if it, continues being as successful as we believe it will be. But on top of this also lets a lot of other people understand the worth of they start, checking the worth of their podcast. You have to think of this from an economic standpoint. If you have a podcast or if you love a podcast, how much is that podcast worth to you? How much are you willing to pay to be able to get to, hear or see that podcast? Most of us put out our podcast for free, and we hope that a sponsor is willing to join it. Whilst podcasts used to be pretty big and now they're on the decline, I think this is going to start to shoot up their value just a little more. And maybe more sponsors are going to start waking up and noticing a couple people, maybe this podcast also, and saying, hey, if you're willing to do such and such,
Yeah,
I'm
we're
willing to hook you up.
Squarespace.
Right?
Me
What's going
undies.
on?
Come on, guys.
Right? Yeah, NordVPN, all those things. Where are you guys? I'm
More
willing
likely,
to.
it would be Comixology.
I'd be down with it. I'd be down with it if Amazon wants to. Yeah, you know what? I'm sick and tired of saying these people's names. They don't deserve this. But you know what? I like case in point. I just had an eyeglasses company slide into my emails and like, hey, if you're willing to, advertise our stuff on your videos, we'll send you a free pair of our glasses. And I'm just like, screw you, screw your mom, screw your whole family, screw your dog.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Dog.
how dare you? Yeah, that's right. I went John Wick on them.
I hear they're colorblind.
They are. I responded back, and I was like, yeah. So here's the deal. I'm willing to make a half a minute, 30-second video
Uh-huh.
of your content
Uh-huh.
and put it on one of my videos. And I will do that for every single time that you're willing to buy one of my videos, buy ad space on one of my videos. I'm willing to make a brand new ad to put on. You're going to have to send me the glasses, of course, so that I can do that. But you're also going to have to pay me $200 per time that I do this.
Yeah.
But it's negotiable. I haven't heard back from them. See, because the idea is you have to really look at what these guys are. I did fall into the trope of doing a sponsor at one time. Kind of a sponsor. It wasn't really a sponsor. Anyway, that
Beautiful Halo. You get a
Yeah.
commission off of every sale if they use your
Yeah.
code.
It sounds like a really good idea, right? But I used to get $5 off of it. And I've gotten a total of $15 from it. One of them was from you, and I thank you very much for that. Genuinely appreciate it, sir. I got $15 total, so 3 people have bought from my link on Beautiful Halo. But how many people have seen the advertisements that I did, or the link that I have in my description below? I got rid of all of those now. How many people have seen this? So how many people have gotten eyes on? Because that's what advertisement actually is. Advertisement is, this is coming from a guy with a degree in freaking marketing, specialty in marketing for a business degree, who was dumb enough to not see this for what it was. Advertisements are about eyes on.
Right.
These guys don't go to TV and say, hey, you put on one of my commercials. And what I'm going to do is every single time somebody buys something and says that they got it because they saw the commercial on your TV program, I'm going to pay you for that. No, they just simply do a blanket. Here it is. And hopefully we get some customers off of it. That's what advertisement is.
Right.
And yet they know that us content creators are so desperate to get some kind of commission coming to us that we're
Yes.
willing to just say, okay. So we're advertising like crazy all of their stuff, and we only get paid for the ones that are successful, for the fish that bite. And that's not right. That's not fair.
It's
not fair.
completely fair because you agreed to it.
Understood. It's not about what I agreed to. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's exploiting the content creator.
Exploit is a harsh word. Well, I'll let it go. Yes.
That's fine. It's the definition of the term. Go on.
No, it's in favor of them more than it is in
100%.
favor of the YouTuber. But
Yeah.
I mean, as long as the YouTuber actually agrees to it, what am I gonna say?
No, it's not illegal. we're talking about morals right now in many regards. Look, I agreed to it. I said yes, so they got away with a really, and all of the content creators who agreed to do, Beautiful Halos thing, hey,
Hmm.
it was a really good idea. I got $15 out of it. It's $15 I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. Yay.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like, look at all the advertisement that they got to do. And maybe you also see that because I know I'm not the only one because they showed me some other people who did content and they would constantly contact me. It's like, hey, could you do another one of the videos? Hey, we're sending you another video. Could you, maybe do another one of your videos like such and such and such? And I started to get tired of it after a while. I'm like, bro, I'm not going to completely change my content
Right.
just because you want me to put another video on. You think about that. This is exploitative because they see people who need, and they're not informed. You know what I'm saying? Hey, if you trick somebody out of, like if the shell game, it's basically the shell game. So what I'm talking about. Here I'm
Yeah.
moving the cups around. Which one has the marble under it? Maybe there is a marble under one of these. Maybe there's not. But it's the idea that you're tricking people into thinking such and such. Is it legal? Yes. Is it exploitative? 100%. It's the definition of exploitation. They're exploiting people who really, really want this. And they're just like, hey, the more eyes we get on this, because maybe you see me advertising for them, 10 times and you don't actually buy something. But then you go on somebody else's channel and they advertise it too. You're like, you know what? Fine. Right. So I just did
Yeah.
all this work and somebody else gets the benefit from it. And it's like, dude, at the end of the day, they know what they're doing and they're okay with doing it. And
I guess.
they haven't complained that I stopped advertising for them and that I took the stuff off because they don't care. Because I got so many other fish out there. And this goes back to your argument and the one that I expounded upon, the idea that you have to control capitalists through
Oh,
capitalism. The
I
only
thought
way
you
to
were
do
gonna
that is
talk
with your
about
buck.
AI rights. Never
That's
mind.
a really weird segue, but sure, let's get into that also now.
Sure. I don't think that these artificial intelligences, which are in the Iron Man 2020 series, they're
Thank you.
out saying we need rights and AI rights, this and that. And I'm looking at it like, are you guys even alive? Are you guys even worthy of rights? You're a digital. You're not a person. You're not a being organic. You don't exist. You're not worthy of AI rights. You were programmed to do something, and it looks like you need some rewiring for your programming. That's the way I view it.
Well, that's not what AI is, though. AI is making a like something that it's actually sentient. Artificial
No,
intelligence is, oh, sure, go on.
no, it's not sentient. It was programmed.
I'm listening. What is
Um,
sentience?
Google.
Okay, you already lost the argument. Sentience is the ability to be able to recognize yourself. Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I
Able
am.
to perceive or feel things.
Yes, and to be aware of yourself, to be aware of your own existence. You know, people argue if animals or insects are sentient. Yeah, they're sentient enough. They understand that if you hurt them, they're gonna, ow, 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 and try and get away from you or fight back. You know, if you're aware of your own existence, it's not like just, oh, I'm a plant. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody with a prefrontal lobotomy. If you're aware of your own existence, you want rights.
So
You
by
want to be treated
definition,
fairly.
an artificial intelligence is sentient. Still
Yeah.
don't care. You can be
Wow, that's
sentient.
messed up.
You can be programmed to be sentient, and you can feel things, and you can perceive things.
Uh-huh.
I still don't care.
Man,
You're not biological. You're just something that was created with a purpose, and you should be helping. First of all, these people who are programming these AIs need to properly put some boundaries. Remember the movie I, Robot? Remember how like the first rule was you can't harm a human.
yep.
They need, where were those rules for Iron Man 2020 when they were making all of these guys who are fighting back?
First of all, I think that the whole Iron Man 2020 thing and the Tony Stark Iron Man thing, all of Dan Slott's understanding of AI is very weak. That's not an insult against Slott because he is writing a comic book,
Hmm.
And if he did AI the way the AI is actually expected to be, because mind you, there is no such thing as AI. To this day, we still don't have the technology to create AI, you know?
That we
Artificial
know
intelligence
of.
Artificial intelligence is completely beyond us right now. To essentially implant a soul almost, because we don't know what a soul is in us. Where is your soul? Where's your soul? If I cut off your arm and I throw it over there, where are you?
I'm
Are
here
you
and
in
my
both
arm is
places?
there.
Yes, exactly. So your arm
Because
is not your soul.
this
But
is where
which
all the
so
thinking.
so which part of your body do I have to cut off that you can't say my such and such is over there? You wouldn't say my head is over there?
I wouldn't be alive anymore after that.
No, what if take all that stuff apart. You can say you'd bleed to death if I cut your arm off. Take that away. Which
Yeah.
part of you would I have to take out to say you took out me?
I think it's the heart.
It'd be your heart.
I would say it's my heart if only my head was missing, because most of
So it
my
wouldn't be
body.
so if I shot you in the chest but you still lived, you wouldn't
Yeah.
say he shot me in my chest or he shot me in my heart. He shot me in me. Which
I,
part of you is me?
yeah,
You see, we
that's the
can't
fun part. I would
you
say
see
the brain, but if I was beheaded and the only thing left, I don't know, my head was over there and my body was over here, I would say my head is there, and I would act like the rest of me is like the whole me. Just because there's more of me there. But
the part
that's
of you that
like,
pumps. So hence the ka and the ba and all this stuff from Egyptian
but I'm
mythology.
alive.
Well,
An AI is not alive.
says who?
Well,
God created
yeah,
us.
that's what we're talking about. Look,
God
when
created us. What if God said, I created you, I could do whatever I want with you, and I could program you to not, want to kill yourself because it hurts and it doesn't seem right. And the idea of actually killing another human being, it's going to put a sense of, oh my God, what have I done? And the idea of being naked, it's going to put shame in you and all these different things. Don't eat from
uh-huh.
the tree of intelligence and the tree of knowledge of good and evil and all that stuff. What if God simply said, you're not even real? So hence, if you don't do what I want you to do, you burn in hell forever.
How do I argue a what if? I can argue killing
Everything,
someone,
everything. What if?
unlike killing some AI, like a human can die. How are you alive if you can't even die? If I unplug this AI, I just change the batteries and put it back. It's immortal. There's nothing that can end an AI. All you got to do is give it its energy source. You can't
We're
be
all
alive if you
energy.
can't die.
It's not true. If our brain ceases to function, you can't
Hmm.
just start plugging electricity in us or give us a blood transfusion. We'll be back.
Yeah,
We
that's the
could
difference between humans and AIs.
no, because with an AI, likewise, if you reboot it, all of a sudden it comes back. It's
But there's no
it's
coming back for a
factory reset.
human. I can't
No,
go to the
it's
graveyard and dig something and just say, I want to bring you back.
make a body completely alive again. You can, a body's been dead for like a day or so. You can plug in the right amount of the right ampage of electricity. The body is alive again. Oh, you got the heart to start beating again, stuff like this. But the brain is definitely dead. That's not Bill. Bill's
Right.
dead, you
So
know?
you're saying after a day of someone being in a coma or some sort of state when they're rejuvenated, then I would say they never actually died. I'm
Well, yeah,
talking
they
about,
never died. I'm
yeah,
saying if
let's
your
go to a
body actually died.
graveyard and undig a coffin and see the remains and say, I'm going to try to get this guy back. It's impossible to do that.
If you were to cut off somebody's head,
Yeah.
okay, they're not coming back. But
Yeah.
then you were to, plug in the correct ampere of energy of electricity into a person's body, get their heart to start pumping again and circulating blood, but actually somehow brought all the arteries back to the right place and whatnot, or just removed somebody's brain, whatever. The body would technically be alive, but that person's soul is gone. The soul is gone.
Agreed.
So likewise, factory resetting AI, all of a sudden, they're not them anymore. They would die, technically. This is something capable of independent thought. And immortality means that you can't die. It doesn't mean that you're not human anymore, or it doesn't mean that you're not alive anymore.
So
You
you
know,
think just a beating heart with blood flowing through it means you're alive, and I don't.
um, you're misconstruing what I'm saying here.
If I were to be beheaded and you got something to make the blood, the heart beat and everything go normally in the body, that wouldn't be I'm alive. But if you did that with an AI,
The
you
body would be alive.
destroyed an AI,
No, the body would be alive, but that person would still be dead.
and I disagree that the
Right.
body would even be alive. I disagree with that whole.
Okay, cool. Then pointless argument. But
Well,
the idea is that I don't see how death means that you're alive, whatever. Anyway, so in
if you're
AI,
alive, you die. Something that's alive always dies. But with an AI, I can unplug it and make it powerless, and then I can bring it back and say, here it is again. I don't know how you can do the same with the human, because it's
Does
never
it
been done.
does it have the same stream of consciousness? Because I would
Maybe
argue that
those
it
files were
doesn't.
deleted, but it's still the same AI. It's the same operating, like IG-88 in Mandalorian. They, or 11, was it 11 or 88?
IG-11.
There it is.
88 was
When
from Empire Strikes Back.
so Queel did his work and he repurposed it as a nurse droid. It
So it
never.
looks the same. So it's the same. So if a person gets amnesia and can't remember anything about their lives, can't even remember their name,
Mhm.
that's still the same person.
It's the same person. They forgot all of their memories.
Interesting. So if I were to somehow mind transfer your brain with somebody else's, would you still be Chillmonger, even though your conscious is now in that
I don't know
person's
how to.
body?
I don't. I want to argue a what if. You
Ah,
got to argue with real things that happen. But the whole thing is the
well,
Marvel
AI
universe. It's not
isn't
like
real.
people didn't
AI
die in
isn't
Marvel,
real. So
and
anyway,
people
the
die in
whole
Marvel. So
argument.
what are we talking about?
So the whole argument is moot then. Anyway, that's not AI. The
Uh huh.
idea of having something that you can program and say you have to do such and such and such, that's not AI. It's not. That's not the definition of AI. Artificial intelligence is something that we can't come to yet, and we're definitely not going to use AI for a freaking toaster or a microwave or even to drive our cars. If we get those, they apparently exist already. The self-driving cars, that's not AI. That's programmed. That's it's huge difference. It's monumental difference to people who don't understand technology to that level. It's literally just what it's all electricity and moving
Hmm.
parts. Technically, so are we. You know, no, that is not AI. So AI is something that can think on its own and can decide should you live or should you die. Maybe I should kill you. You know what I'm saying? Their rules per se are only based on the idea of what do I think I can get away with doing or what is right or what is wrong. AI is an artificial intelligence. We're basically AI. To God, we would basically be AI, you know? Like think of it on that level. So all that being what it is, those things, if they are AI, even though they're just drivable cars and toaster ovens, basically, yes, I believe that anything capable of independent thought should absolutely have rights. They should also have rules and regulations, but they should also have rights.
Yeah, and I don't put them there. I don't have them that high. Tell me about Batwoman and the new casting that you want.
Well, Sonya Deville from the WWE is arguing that she should be the new Batwoman. And I didn't even read what her argument it is, and I don't care. I love Sonya Deville. I think that she is an amazing wrestler. I think that she's hot. I know she's a lesbian. She'd never go for me, but I think that she has everything that it takes to do the job. And boom, yes, I'll probably go and read the argument that she makes later. But for now, she says she wants it. Damn it, WWE. I say that we get together and we say, well, actually, it wouldn't be WWE, it would be WB. We get together and we say, yeah, WB, give her a casting call. At the very least, give her a casting call. Let her do an audition for crying out loud.
I remember them recasting Will Smith's mom, but a main character to get
How many
recasted?
times? Like 4 or 5 times.
Okay, I only remember the one time.
Only the one? Yeah, go
Yeah,
back and look, dude. Every season there was a new one. I don't remember what there were 7 seasons, if I remember correctly.
6.
There were only 6.
Yeah,
Well, I guess one of those seasons there had to have been the same mom being used, but no, pretty much every season had a different mom. Yep.
but we've never recasted for a main character
What main character? You mean the
in a
other
show.
characters?
In
Her
a
mom was
show,
in.
the main
Oh,
character of a show has never just been recasted. Like Ruby Rose is out, so I never
yeah. Apparently
imagined.
she was fired. They're saying. Yeah, I don't know the details of it. I saw something. I was just like, oh, apparently she was fired. Okay, cool, good to know. I don't know what the deal is. No, I'm pretty sure they've recast the main actor. Look at Buffy, from the movie to the TV show. They recast Buffy.
Yeah.
That's just one example. The movie was one person, I forget who, and then Sarah Jessica Parker. That's from Sex and the City. Sarah Michelle Gellar did
So did they
yeah.
keep the rest
Christy
of the
Swanson.
cast?
I don't know. I don't know. But no, but I'm positive that they've changed people before.
Uh-huh.
Positive they've changed people before. Yeah. I'm trying to think of more examples. I don't watch enough TV, but I do know that I've seen them changing characters before. Yeah. Oh, and never
Ezra
mind.
Miller in Crisis. They used Ezra
I don't.
Miller in the
That's not the
CW
same.
event.
Yeah, that's not the same. No, I'm talking about you. You said the main character in a TV series. They've
Yeah.
never recast the person before. I'm saying they have, but whatever. I can't think of any more examples right now. Anyway,
You think Scarlett Johansson could play her? Because I think she can play a tree.
this is something that we were talking about before we actually went live. What do you call it? Cho'Monger was informing me that she said, well, go ahead. You just tell me what you said.
So about 2 years ago, maybe, or maybe 1 year ago, there was a role for a transgendered, and she was going to do it. The movie was going to be made, and then the transgendered community or a community was upset. You should have hired someone who's actually transgendered to play the transgendered.
I don't think
Scarlett's
there's a D in that. Sorry, it's a little bit grating. I think it's just transgender people. Yeah.
So Scarlett Johansson says, "I can play a man, a woman, a dog, a kite, a blank, and a tree." And for some reason, I can play a tree is the one that stood out the most. And so that's what we when I was just joking about it, but that's like the one that sticks out the most. And I'm of that opinion too. If you're Scarlett Johansson, you can play whatever you want to play. It's called acting. Go wild.
Yeah,
That's what that joke was.
and I threw in the idea of her playing a tree. That's Groot. I am Groot. I I think that's what she meant.
It's probably
I
what
don't
she
know.
meant. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't see that as such a big deal. I don't know. Like it's a hard thing to really go for because in some ways, yes, you want to be able to say why wouldn't a transgender person play a transgender person on there? But at the same time, why wouldn't you get a Chinese actor to play a Chinese role or a Japanese person to play a Japanese role? Like I remember the first time I ever thought about it was Memoirs of a Geisha. Like why did you have Shang Ji Yi, however her name is pronounced, whichever direction? I have heard it's also Yi Zhangji, whatever. Anyway, um,
The martial
why?
arts fighter?
I don't think she's much of a martial arts fighter.
So we're
She
not talking
played
about Shang-Chi in the movie that Marvel's doing. We're talking about another Yi Shang.
Shang Ji Yi.
Uh-huh.
She played the girl in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, the young girl, and she was also in Memoirs of a Geisha, but she's Chinese.
Yeah.
So geishas are Japanese. So why was she playing a Japanese character? And it's like, are you telling me like she's a beautiful actress, she's a great actress, she's awesome, and she did a great job, but you couldn't have found a Japanese person to play this role? Because I don't know,
Do
man.
Japanese people and Chinese people look different enough where you could tell?
I can tell just by the voice, but I've also spent a lot of time in the Asian communities, so I can tell. I can tell the difference. While I said I've spent a lot of time in black neighborhoods, my wife, who's actually African, she can tell the difference between in facial structures, the way that before anybody even opens their mouth and says a language. If you're from Eritrea or anywhere on the East Coast, if you're Ethiopian, if you're Somali, if you're Kenyan, she can tell just by the facial structure. And it's like, wow, I can't do that. I can't do that. So
So the facial structure of a Chinese and a Japanese are different.
yeah, yeah, oh, yeah. I can actually tell, but
What's the
I'm not like
polite
100% perfect. But yeah, I can tell.
how do I talk about the eyes of that sector of the world without being rude? What's the way to put it?
Oh, I don't know. There's no Congress of Asian
Yeah.
people getting together and saying, okay, this is acceptable, this is not.
They're
You
too
know?
busy being doctors and shit that matters.
Wow, you racist bastard. I'm joking, but yeah, whatever. Literally, you just say you. To me, it's like you say it, you try to do it with the best of intentions. If somebody's being a jerk, you call them a jerk. If a lot of people are saying no, actually that's not cool, you listen to it and you apologize and you move on. It's that simple to me. There are people who don't like the term Asians. It's like, okay, that for me, I haven't heard a good explanation why that's going too far. So for me, that's going too far. Saying I can't say Asians, like, come on,
Well,
dude.
if there was a word to describe eyelids that are wide, if there's a way to put it, if there was a way to do it, I would have said that. But I don't know if you're Japanese or Chinese. I just can't tell the difference. So I went with Asian or
Oh, you're
Korean.
saying, yeah, I guess just saying Asian style. I think, yeah, what
Asian
we
eyed? Oh,
we
he was
still
an
would,
Asian eyed man. That's too long.
I don't know why you would even bring that up. I don't know. Like, we don't talk about black people and say like black people mouths. We don't say that.
But that's the this descriptive. That's
Ooh,
the
and white
distinction.
people. We don't say like white people and their penises. Had to go there.
Tell me about two white people, Mark Waid and Neil Adams.
Oh, geez. Mark Waid and Neil Adams, two old timer, one more old timer than the other. They're both going to be doing the a new Fantastic Four book. I don't know what the
Fantastic.
status of the right. I don't know what the status of Dan Slott's Mark his Mark Waid run is going to be. I don't know what that the status of that's going to be. That book, I don't know if it's ending or whatnot, and I don't know. Nobody seems to know how long the Fantastic Four book is going to be. I actually, oh, and I closed it because of course I did. I had it up. It's called Fantastic Four something. Ah, crap. There's actually a word for it. Syllogism? I forget what the word was. New Fantastic Four Neil
I know they got the big Empire
Adams.
event that's happening, and that's not a book that's been canceled, unlike other books that have been switched to digital. But all of the Empire,
Antithesis.
huh?
Sorry, had to throw it in. Antithesis. It's
Ah,
Fantastic Four Antithesis. So yeah.
so look out for that by Mark Waid and Neil Adams.
Yeah, these are two like, serious old time writer artist. Again, Neil Adams being one of the original artists for comic books back in the day. Well, I think he's probably the oldest, going back that far. So there's that.
Have
He's
the Fantastic
he's
Four?
known for doing this. He did Muhammad Ali, and yes, that's his signature right there also.
Mhm.
Boom. So yeah, he's known for doing Superman versus Muhammad Ali
That's a cool
and a whole
poster.
bunch of others. Oh, it is. It is. It's the whole wraparound of the original cover.
Uh huh. How about Green Lantern? 80th anniversary of not just him, not just Flash and Wonder Woman, who had. Wonder Woman was like, was she the 80th anniversary too, or was it like 75th?
Oh, actually, probably would have been the 75th anniversary because she's actually not as old a character. Like Hawkwoman is an older character than
Wonder
Wonder
Woman.
Woman.
But Robin had his 80th, and we know that Superman and Batman did too.
I get Batman, Superman, and I guess I get Wonder Woman. I think she should have waited for her 80th. Well, whatever. Like it's all just money making schemes and whatnot. That's
Yeah.
all it is. You did a Robin also, which okay, there were good stories in there, but it's like, dude, come on with this. Like, are we also going to get Red Tornado? I mean, like, what are we exactly looking for here? What else are we going to get here?
Money.
Yeah, right. Are you going to do a Hawkman? You do a Hawkman, I'll forgive you. How about that? I don't think they're going to do a freaking Hawkman though. You do a Hawkman, I forgive you, DC. But like Green Lantern, they're of course going to do the Flash. They're going to do all these characters. Like I said, where's it gonna end? Are they going to do a Red Tornado anniversary? It's getting a bit much. I know there was the whole idea, like I think you even complained about the idea of Marvel doing an issue number 1000 and 1001 of Marvel.
When there
There's a
wasn't
there's
1,000 comics of Marvel, yeah, that's bull. I didn't buy it.
definitely more than 1000 issues. But anyway, what it was just a thing that they did. But I think that at least they only did the one, and well, technically the two anyway, and they turned it into an event, which is actually something instead of just here's just a bunch of random stories that aren't really going to go anywhere. Mind you, the Superman 1000, the one did go someplace. The
The
Bendis
Bendis.
one did go someplace, but it's also the Bendis one, and
So the Detective Comics book was also that way. It was just a bunch of stories that didn't go anywhere. So how are you defending Marvel 1000 as if because they made theirs an event, it was more
yeah,
meaningful? What happened in
yeah.
there that matters today?
The Empire. The Empire issues that still haven't come out yet. We're going to
Hmm.
get like 5 weeks straight of Empire stuff. That all started with Marvel issue number 1000 and 1001 and incoming. That was the first three issues. Now we're going to go into the whole Kree Skrull War and all these other stories with Empire. So
Okay.
it's at least leading to something. At the very least, I can say that it might not be leading to anything good. I don't know, but at least it was something where it means something. It's meaningful as opposed to just let's just celebrate making money. I mean, these characters.
I read Incoming and I felt that it was just let's celebrate
It
making money.
sucked. It sucked. No, I don't think it was that. I think that
They tried
there
in
were
the
only like
beginning.
2 or 3 stories that were actually relevant in incoming, which really frustrated me.
The first maybe six where it was Captain Marvel, it was Daredevil and Elektra, it was Blue Marvel. Like when they were going in order, it all made sense. But then somewhere in the middle, they just lost me. What's Mr. Sinister doing talking about Franklin Richards? Like it was just a reason to make money at that point. And then they came back, and at the end, I think they solved the mystery of this scroll, and it made us want to look at Empire. Man, I think I could read Empire without any of that. Actually, here's the thing. I think I even said this in my review of Incoming, but that was the week I decided I'm not going to read Empire. They turned me off because they made me waste all this money on this. Screw it. I'm not going to read Empire. And maybe I'll change my mind because I might need to be reading comics nowadays, especially when they're only giving like 6 comics a week. Maybe I'll change my mind and read Empire. But at the time, I was very turned off.
Yeah. I don't know. I look at it as, hey, man, if all of this is going to lead, if all of these short stories are going to lead to something, it would be pretty interesting if they said, hey, check this out.
Yeah.
Hey, Marvel number 1000 is a first appearance of that one character with the mask, so there's that at the very least. But I don't know, where do you go with it from there? Either way, just it's the idea that it at least meant something, as opposed to the other ones, which were just, hey, let's celebrate making money because, yeah. Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's the end of our topics. You want to bring it back to Snyder Cut? I mean, we can always talk about that. I think that this is an introduction to the multiverse, their version of it, because there is going to be a new Batman movie that doesn't make any sense. It's not Ben Affleck. It's going to be Pattinson. Mm-hmm. We got Ezra Miller appearing in Heroes in Crisis in the CW event, the Infinite Crisis thing there. We've got all the Wonder Woman stuff and Aquaman and Shazam. There's a whole bunch of it. Maybe this is going to be another universe. Well, it has to be, right? If they're going to put it out, where events happened this way, and maybe something happens at the end that leads to a flashpoint, that leads to a reason for why everything is everywhere, and then they'll try to tie it back up.
It could be. Hell, let's take it a step further. Let's go and make it a full-on omniverse.
Oh, God.
Omniverse is where it's everybody, and this is something that actually exists in Marvel. If you go and read the New Avengers, I think was it the New Avengers? There's all new Captain America. There's a bunch of these, and all new Avengers. I think, yeah, that's what it was. And they actually talk about the Omniverse.
I think Omniverse is break in case of emergency. We screwed up the multiverse. Okay, Omniverse, boom.
Oh, no, even then, this actually includes all the DC worlds. This includes the Valiant universe. This includes every single comic book or TV show or movie that has ever been made, that everything is somehow connected to the Omniverse. Even properties that they don't own, everything. It's like, oh, it's all Omniverse. So they all exist somewhere. Marvel is the one that did that. And I'm saying that's kind of cool. Yeah. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is kind of cool. We got the Boondocks appearing in the Omniverse and everything.
Yeah, technically. So there is a chance that everything could eventually cross over. Yeah. As far as the Snyder Cut, here's what I'm going to say. The people who were originally in on this deserve a serious pat on the back. You genuinely impressive. And mind you, most of the people who are hardline staunch on the Snyder Cut thing, these are some of the same people who I'm admitting that I was wrong about it. These are the same people who would never admit that they're wrong about anything. Not all of them, but enough of them. You got that kind of crowd in there that they would never admit they're wrong about anything. Deny it to the dick to the end of the days.
They're wrong. They said release the Snyder Cut, but it still needs $30 million to be finished. So there wasn't a Snyder Cut. There was things filmed, but there was never a cut.
Oh yeah, 100%. No, but more than that, the idea a lot of these are the same people are saying, no, Batman vs Superman was one of the best movies ever. The people have spoken. Batman versus Superman sucked. I admitted you guys were right and I was wrong about something. Can you guys do the same thing? Have the box office numbers not shown? Because everybody's going to look at the statistics they want. It made almost $1 billion. Yeah, it made 837, I think it was, $1 million. Yes. And most of that was on opening night and that opening week. And then the next week, there was a record-breaking drop of people saying, this movie sucked. I am not going to go and see it again. I'm going to tell all my friends it sucked. Wait for it to come out on DVD. The merchandise sales flopped. Can these same people who are sitting there and patting themselves on the back, that's right, we were right, Professor Bill was wrong. Screw you, Professor Bill. Can you people now do the exact same thing? And finally, after all this time, and I've never been proven wrong on this, can you now acknowledge, Okay, you're right. Most people, look, I loved the movie. You can't take that away from me, and I won't. I won't try and take that away from you. I love the movie, but yes, the vast amount of people said that the movie sucked. So, hey, look, I'm right. You're wrong. Can you deal with the same thing? But all that being said, I got to give credit to the original people. I remember I even cracked a joke about there's no Snyder's Cut people. People were talking about let's make a big movement, and there were 13 people dressed in cosplay, acting all tough with a banner. And this is going back. Jeez, this is going back how many years ago now, with a banner that said "Release the Snyder Cut." It wasn't even. I don't even think there was a hashtag on it, but maybe there was. There's like pre-hashtag, saying they just had the release the Snyder Cut anyway. And those people right now, they are the toughest guys on the planet. They're the toughest guys on the planet because that small movement of people who went there to show support, those 13 or so people. Damn, you guys are the biggest bosses on the face of the planet. I'm scared of you. You know what I'm saying?
You want to know how much money Civil War made that came out about a month later?
How much?
$1.1 billion. There is an audience for two superheroes fighting, and for some reason Batman vs. Superman made less than these two, Captain America and Iron Man. Wow.
Well, people were more excited to see Batman vs. Superman. I was. I'm a huge Captain America mark. And I'm just like, yeah, I kind of want to see that Batman vs. Superman, though. And I was so disappointed.
Damn.
So disappointed. There was no way I was going to back to see that again. Mind you, I didn't see it in the theaters. I was in the Middle East during the time. Sorry, no movie theaters in Saudi Arabia for me. There was in the Saudi Aramco build facility, apparently, but I didn't work for them, so I couldn't go. Anyway. But Captain America, hells yes, I've seen that multiple times. I was thinking just earlier today I might go and watch it. Completely unrelated. I was thinking I might go and watch that again because that was such a really good movie. And the same people who are just, like DC diehards, DC no matter what. These are the same people. They were just like, oh yeah, man, look at the difference in the CG. Here, Batman, Superman, these guys are actually wearing their costume. Tony Stark's, Robert Downey Jr. is not even wearing the Iron Man costume. It's all green screen. And the movie worked, and BVS didn't. Hey, look, it's called Civil War. There's like 4 or 5 guys on each side fighting. Doesn't look like much of a war. Hey, look, when you look at it close up, it looks kind of cool. But when you back it up and you just see like 10 guys getting ready to slap fight each other, doesn't look so cool, does it? $1 billion+, massive amounts of merchandise being sold to this day.
Momentum, which made Infinity War make more money, which made Black Panther make more money. Spider-Man made more than any of the Sony Spider-Man money.
Yeah. More than any movie that Sony's ever done before, any of their Spider-Man franchises at least. And meanwhile, BVS, it had 1 week of success in the movie theaters, and then it full-on, record-breakingly flopped. There's a bunch of people out there and be like, "Bill's a hater." No, I'm not. I'm being honest. I'm looking at the numbers. It's facts. Facts don't care about your feelings, peep. That's what Ben Shapiro says. Screw Ben Shapiro. Anyway, yeah, I just I'm honest all around, even to a fault, even if it means making fun of myself. Hey, I'm okay. I'm okay with it. It doesn't bother me. It seems to bother a lot of other people though.
That's the podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. That is the podcast. So we're out. We'll talk to you guys later. We'll see you next week. Hey, the podcast always drops on Sunday mornings. And then if you want to wait to see the video format for some reason, I guess you can wait until Tuesday night Tuesday really early in the AM, midnight Tuesday, to see Chillmonger and I both in the podcast or in the live chat talking about it as it premieres. So there's that. And I got to make a really cool thumbnail for this now.
Yeah.
What kind of thumbnail should I make for this? Maybe a giant pair of scissors that say Snyder cutting me in half. Or trying to cut me in half. You think, you know what? Maybe I can try and do something like that. Let's see how good my editing skills are. I like that. A Snyder cut, cutting Professor Bill in half. All right. That's the plan right now, peeps. All right. So I'm out. Chillmonger, you're out, or are you going to stick around?
I'm out.
Okay, cool. Let's leave. Professor Bill and Chillmonger. Comic Book University.
Class
Three, two,
dismissed.
one. Class
Class
dismissed.
dismissed.